Slave to Satan. Spend it and buy Bitcoin. Anyone who buys and spends everything is a slave because they have to keep working forever. Isn't that right? Man, but I'm going to have a counterpoint for you. I'm not a slave to these guys. Everything I do is theirs. Man, I haven't worked for the last 3 years and I paid his salary, the editor's salary and all that. But I didn't work, man. Because you had fat, that's not good. But I'll tell you, I had fat to burn. Today, what I earn in passive income is still much higher than what I earn working, but it gives me much more. Meaning, fulfillment to earn, I don't know, $0 on my number 2 channel. Yeah, that's exactly why the main proxy for mental illness is the number of relatives and friends. The issue of purpose is the story of Viktor Frankl, right? Who killed themselves, who died, who didn't die in the concentration camp. If you didn't, man, it's purpose, it's purpose. Viktor Frankl wrote this in Poland. He identified who died, who didn't die, because who had friends or a goal, or if you left, you want to get your son back, you want to even kill the guy who raped your daughter, right? You're like, but I'm not going to die until I kill this guy, right? This can be a purpose, it can be positive or negative, it's not this or not, huh? Yeah. And then the hardest phase was when you discovered negative interest. Boy, it was really hard, man. It was a phase that, and thank God I discovered that God provided, right? God provided a solution exactly in the year that the negative interest hell began, which was 2008, right? Why 2008? Oh, because it was the impression of how many of these. The Bitcoin paper is in the block genesis of a newspaper headline making it clear that it only happened because the government lost power over money because it abused that power, right? And the subtitle was Israel once again occupies the Gaza Strip. I don't know why it's happening again, right or not? Damn, 2008 was the 1971 of our generation. It was worse because 71 authorized until 71 it was forbidden for Americans to have gold bars at home, and in 71 they can now do it. You don't force the CCO gold bar, it has a record, it's cheaper than if you buy it at LMI, like at the commodities exchange at Costco. I can't say, Costco it's a supermarket like Pão de Açúcar. It's a very cheap thing, it's a retail thing like that. It's a retail thing, no, wholesale acai. Wholesale, isn't that right? Alberto Coco sent $109. Ran, in Turkey, where the Roman state was, there are the houses of Mary, Mother Jesus. The piece there is impressive, and it's just the house in the commercial part of Fatima. We have children about college. Yours will go to college. I didn't understand either. He only said that there is the house of Mary, Jesus, Mother, in Turkey. Mary went to Turkey, damn it. I knew I wasn't learning. Thank you, Alberto Coco. Renan Garut sent €23. Hugs to both of you. I'm a huge fan. You guys who advocate for young people to leave Brazil, have you never thought about investing in schools and exchange agencies to further influence young people to leave Brazil? What do you think about that? Did you see how many hammers and sickles there were here today? It's a beating here. Socialism is stronger. Maybe stronger than in Brazil, man. The left and the center use the hammer and sickle. Portugal is a country where the guy who thinks he's the center is in the hospital. The guy from Chega, Andre, what's his name? Andre what? What? The guy Bolsonaro, got sick here. Andre Ventura, isn't that it? Andre Ventura is not sure what happened to him. The next day he was fine. He said he had a constriction, right? He stopped breathing and stuff. Nobody really knows the cause, right? Did they poison the guy? One of Bolsonaro's sons wasn't poisoned. He said he even got sick. He, himself in the debate, there was no such, they didn't poison the guy. The guy had a toxin there, the guy, himself in the debate, he got discredited. They proved that the water had who knows what, right? But getting back to it, that's it. But getting back to it, do you invest in a country where you see the hammer and sickle 30 or 40 times a day?
No.
You invest in a country that is worth it, that is not worth it to be honest. Are you going to invest your life in this place? Anyone born in Brazil has people who are worth staying. That's what I said. If I were the son of someone from the STF, the STJ, I would stay, right? If my father were judge, you have to see what the scheme is. If you were a crown prince, if my name instead of Abua was Odebrecht, isn't that it or isn't it? Then the conversation would be different. Isn't that it or isn't it? Now, man, you don't have fish. You don't have fish. You're nobody's son. Are you good at pagode? Are you a soccer star, aren't you, Veli? So, damn, that's what I said about rock. Isn't that it or isn't it? Would you rather be you or be Pele, Veli? Be the greatest in the world. The whole world. Being a player isn't that. Being Neymar. Isn't that it or isn't it? Now I'm not Neymar. It's not that it or isn't it? I couldn't be Neymar, my brother. It's climbing the rock. Isn't that it? I don't know how to dance. I don't know how to sing. I was left to spill blood. Isn't that it or isn't it? I'm going to have to do what I'm going to have to do. Isn't that it? Whoever does it. Whoever seeks happiness short-term benefits to whom? The devil, that's right, it was and the devil is the father of lies. And Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. He does what he has to do. He who loves Jesus does what he has to do. Do you think that Zuckerberg, man, you like poking me here, right man? You weren't stalking me or everyone caught my attention when you were looking over there, right? I'm not the one who's looking at the camera over there. He keeps grabbing me here, but he wants me to keep looking at the camera and suck my dick. Isn't that it or not? No, I bet today that there's still the other brothers. Isn't that it? You suck the other brothers, right? Do you have any questions there? Why? But isn't that why you make this sacrifice for Bolsonaro? Isn't that it? Worse than that, most Bolsonarists are like that, man. Hurry up. Rayan, my honor, Renato already knows me. I'm the cousin of the 747, the one who made them help you pick up a woman. Israel from Z0 to 10. How dangerous is it to expose yourself financially on the internet with relatives from Brazil? That's a good, huh? If you love your father or your son more than me, how do you end this sentence of the master? If you love your father or your son more than me, you are not worthy of me, right? In the Old Testament, God orders the guy to test him to kill his own firstborn son. Is that in the Bible or not? At the beginning, including the lineage that gives rise to 12 tribes and everything else, it's this story, isn't it? Man, the Old Testament is heavy. The first 5 books are really heavy with stuff like that, right, man? Why is that? You who know more about theology than him can't hold your hand. But there are stories like that of the daughters raping their father, some really heavy stuff in the Old Testament, the first 5 books. The daughters raped their father to make it clear that women can't live without men. They only raped their father because they knew they would die of hunger and it would be over if the father died, wouldn't it? Nowadays, women have an even more sinful position than that. They abandon men and their father, because their male is the synagogue of Satan. It's the government, isn't that right? Their protector and provider is the government. It's the thieving faith, taking the money from the true producers, isn't that right? But getting back to it, if you love your father, your son more than me, you're not worthy of me. Jesus makes it clear that he didn't come to bring peace, isn't that right? He came to bring peace. He came to bring peace, not between people. He came to bring peace between God and humanity. Because the rules he had given to Israel, Israel broke, declined. Then another prophet came, corrected them, they declined again, right? That's the story of the Old Testament for centuries. He saw, man, these rules here aren't working. I have to send a prophet every time to correct the guys, right? There was even one of those prophets who God ordered to marry. What was it? Was it Hosea, right? What was his name? It was Hosea, man. God said, man, you're treating God so badly that I'm going to make you feel what I feel when you cheat on me. Marry a prostitute, right? Man, there's going to be people marrying women from OnlyFans, man. You're late, you're going to have to. No, but if God appeared to me and said, I order it, if I prostitute and that's fine, you're going to. If God doesn't order it, man, that's not the rule. Hey, he only got married because he was ordered. That's not a general rule. That's not what you call a prostitute. A kid gave it to what? One with more than 10 dicks. Sit down. No, the definition of and prostitute are different. A prostitute, a kid prostitutes herself, who gives money. Okay. And a prost and a are not prostitutes. A prostitute is a woman who gives money, right? The definition of a prostitute or not, that her profession is to give, isn't that it or not, The brother's question was from 0 to 10. How dangerous is it to expose yourself financially on the internet, having family members from Brazil, to show off, to show that you have money, which is one of the regrets I had, okay? To show off on the internet. The problem is that sometimes the guy's business depends on showing off. A lawyer needs to show off lawyers, doctors, most of the guys are reputational assets. If the guy has that kind of money, with that little goal, the guy is a piece of, isn't that it or not? Dude, right? If the guy doesn't have a little bit of money, if the guy doesn't have anything, isn't that it? If he doesn't show off his wealth, the guy, right? Credence goods, right? What are called verblin goods in the economy, isn't that it? It's not exactly verblin, credence goods. He's a luxury band that is demonstrated by its exclusivity, right? I don't know what his career is, right? It depends on his career. If you get to the point of squandering, the ideal is to post it on the internet directly from Florida, Lycona, Orlando, right? What's the name of Vila Nova de Gia? Don't set foot in Brazil, right? Because the greatest boast you can have is to have wealth in a place where you won't be robbed, right? Is it worth being honest in Brazil? Yeah, ellipsis. The greatest boast you can have is to have money in a place where you'll never be robbed. Switzerland and the United States. That's all that's left. There's no money in Switzerland or the United States. Those 3 places. The only real money that exists is Bitcoin.